Hi, I'm Ella Morton. I'm a senior editor at Obscura, and there's nothing I like more on an autumnal afternoon than hanging out in a graveyard. I will gladly do so alone if I must, but today I am very lucky to be joined by someone of like mind, Caitlin Doughty.
You're not alone today, Ella.
Yes, I have friends. It's wonderful. Caitlin is a mortician and a funeral expert, and we are just going to discuss the special nature of this particular cemetery. We are in Bushwick, Brooklyn. This is the Most Holy Trinity Cemetery. It was founded in 1851 as a German Catholic graveyard at a time when bodies were being dug up out of Manhattan burial grounds and shifted over to Brooklyn because it was getting too overcrowded. But the main special thing about this cemetery is that the gravestones are not made of stone. They're made of metal.
Bum, bum, bum.
And that's really cool. And we're going to talk about how that came to be and what the consequences have been. So first obvious question, why are the headstones metal?
Why metal? Originally, the idea was really quite lovely. The idea was that everyone, whether you were rich or you were poor, you would get the same style and material for your headstones, either wood or metal. And while this was a lovely idea, what's happened over the last 165 years is that they have crumbled, they have oxidized, and it doesn't look quite the same as it once did.
As we've been walking around, we've seen the headstones in various states of disarray. Some have crumbled and rusted and sort of crumpled in on themselves, but they weren't always like that.
You'll notice right now there are these big empty spaces in the cemetery, like where we're sitting. They didn't used to be empty. This cemetery used to be packed to the gills with wooden headstones, metal headstones, that over time and in the elements have largely rotted away.
And all of these wooden and metal headstones and monuments, they all looked brand spanking new at one point.
Well, not only did the headstones, the metal ones, look new, they looked like stone. They were deceptive headstones because they painted them this gray color, which ended up looking like they were made of granite.
Deceptive.
Yeah, sneaky German Catholics.
So if you came to the cemetery, if you saw it from a distance, it would just look like any other cemetery of the time.
Well, they would look normal-ish. So again, these were German Catholics, and at the time they had different iconography than was popular in Protestant cemeteries. So Protestant cemeteries, you had a much tamer view of death. We're talking urns and obelisks, where the German Catholics were still going all out with sparkly crucifixes and cherubs and lambs. So you would come into a cemetery like this. There was a reporter who did in the late 19th century and was horrified by all of the 3-foot-tall, crucified, tortured Christs in the cemetery. And he said that this was an aesthetic failure of the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
So it was just a very different vibe at a Catholic cemetery than it would be somewhere else.
If you're used to urns, then a giant tortured Christ is a bit of a
bleeding
departure.
tortured Christ is maybe wouldn't be your first choice for a cemetery.
So it's German Catholic, that was a little bit different. What about customs?
Right, so since it was German, they would have German verses that were spelled out on the monuments. My understanding is that when children died, the parents would come and leave playthings and leave toys at the graves, which is something that parents still do today in cemeteries if they allow it. And it's a custom that I was really fascinated by. Apparently the grave digger would go into the grave and fill the grave with the family there, and there would be a call and response prayer, not with the priest and the family, but the grave digger and the family.
I love that. I feel like grave diggers get overlooked in general.
And I like it because it's like a visceral
audience participation.
Audience participation, call and response. When I say dead, you say my
Me.
mom. Me someday.
I like it, nice memento mori. What about the more dark side? What about the depravity? Was there crime here?
There certainly was crime. You can notice that even now there's an isolation to this cemetery. You have the subway running overhead. It feels isolated even in this growing neighborhood. The idea of the metal monuments is supposed to be this egalitarian idea, and it's supposed to be lovely and all that, but it actually led to problems because metal is so easy to come in, steal, and then sell for scrap.
So we've talked about how it causes decay and there's a lot of headstones around the place that are crumbling, but I actually like the way that looks.
I agree.
Think it creates these new sculptural objects that are beautiful in their own way.
There's so many older cemeteries with granite headstones and granite monuments that look pretty similar no matter where you go, no matter what you're looking at. And each sculptural object, like you said, here at Most Holy Trinity is unique in a way. And I think it's beautiful.
Me too. There's beauty in the decay.
Oh, you're after my own heart.
So thank you for spending time with us in the graveyard today. If you're interested in even more details on these gravestones, what they're made of, how they weathered and crumbled, Caitlin made another video on her channel, Ask a Mortician, so head there to see it. What do I say now?
You say thanks for what? Listen, I think you're just too classy a person, Ella, to do a proper YouTube outro. You have to like look at the camera and be like, all right, Obscurians, I need you to smash that like and subscribe button. I'll see you next week. Tweet, retweet, Facebook, Instagram.
Socials.
We're out, all the socials. Atlas out. There we go. We learned a lot today.
Wow.
Your training is complete, Padawan.